Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Katie. Okay, so today we're doing one of my favorite types of DIYs, which is DIY artwork. I love doing this because I do like to switch up the art in my house quite a lot, especially with different trends coming in and out. So I don't want to spend a ton of money, but I do want to have them in my home. So of course I love to DIY it. So I've got 3 pieces for you guys today that I'm going to show you how you can make, and you can customize them all for your style, your color scheme in your home. And I am not an artist by any means, like it is one of my weaker skills. So this is art that anybody can do. You don't need any special drawing or painting skills. They're all very simple, but they do go along with things that are trendy right now. I love to search around on Pinterest and different websites that I would normally shop and then try to create my own versions. So that's what we're doing today. I'm so excited to show them to you. So let's get started. For this first project, I started out with a plain white canvas, and I buy these in packs because I use them all the time. I wanted to have a circle right in the middle of the canvas, so I took this small round mirror and just traced it with a pencil. You can use any round item that you have lying around the house. After I picked it up, I felt like the pencil line was a little bit too dark, so I just erased it a bit, so this way when I paint it, you won't have the pencil line showing through. So once I erased it off of the canvas a bit, it was really light, but I could still see it enough to be able to paint the inside of the circle. This next step is where you can customize it a little bit, so you can pick any color that you want. I went with this really light pink color, but of course you can choose whatever color suits your color scheme or your decorating style in your space. So just take your time with this and really be careful on the edges to make sure that you stay within the line so that you keep that nice, perfect circle shape. It took me about 2 coats of this craft paint to cover it completely and make sure that none of the canvas was showing through. I wanted to add some leaves to this, so I have this leaf stencil that I got at the craft store. As you can see, I use it a lot, and I just placed it over the circle. You can place it anywhere that you want. I decided to cover about half of the circle with it. Then I took this paint that I'd mixed together. It's green with a little bit of blue to create a dark green color, and a sponge brush, and I just carefully filled in the stencil, trying not to move the stencil around at all as I'm painting. And now for the most satisfying part, lifting this off, and it looks perfect. I decided to add 1 more leaf up in the corner, so I just did half of the same leaf coming out from the top corner. And I wanted to add even a little bit more after this, so I decided to do a geometric shape. I started off making it more rounded, but as I got toward the bottom, I made it more angular, and I liked the way that that looked. So I fixed the other 2 parts, the middle and the top section, to be more of a pointed angular shape, and then I filled it in with this pink color that I mixed up. And I really loved this modern, minimal look to it. I think it looks really cool, really simple, but also very trendy. I've been wanting to try acrylic pour painting for a while, so I figured this video would be the perfect time to try it out. So I've got these cups here, and I'm going to mix a few different colors of paint inside of them. So you can again customize this to whatever you want, any colors that you like that fit your style and that you like to decorate with. I ended up going with a pinky sort of orange color scheme, almost like a sunset. It wasn't my original plan, but it's just the way it worked out with how I mixed the colors together, and I think it looks really pretty. So I just mixed some pink, darker pink, and white together, and then I stirred it up with this craft stick and added a little bit of water. You're gonna add a 3-to-1 ratio, 3 parts paint and 1 part water. You want it to be thin enough to pour, but not so thin that it's running everywhere. So this is about the consistency that I made it, and I mixed up a few other colors. You can use as many colors as you want. I used 3 colors. And now for the fun part, which is pouring the paint. You're just going to take your cups of paint and pour them all over the canvas in different directions. There is really no method to this, so just have fun with it and pour it anywhere that you'd like. So I was a little bit nervous at first, but I kind of figured like I can't mess it up because it's an abstract painting. So I just sort of went with it and started pouring each of my colors, and eventually you want to have the entire canvas covered with paint. So you might have to mix up more paint as you go along. I didn't want to waste paint, so I mixed up small batches at a time and then just added more and more as I needed to. And don't worry if when you mix your second batch, it's not the exact same color, because this is all going to be mixing together eventually, so it does not have to be uniform, so don't stress about that. Something that I found to be really helpful was to stop pouring every once in a while and to use one of these little wood craft sticks to sort of stir and swirl the paint around, because you want to make sure that you're covering all of the white spaces, but you might not have enough to pour and keep pouring to cover it. So as you can see here, I'm just using this little craft stick to sort of smooth out the paint and cover up any white spots. And it's liquidy enough to be able to do that. I actually found this process very therapeutic because you can't really mess it up, like I said, so it's just really fun to play around with the paint, mix up different colors, and just keep pouring it everywhere without worrying about having to be perfect about it. And don't even worry if it goes off of the edges, because that will happen, and I liked that because I ended up covering each of the edges with paint at the end of the project, so it's fine if it starts dripping onto your surface. Just make sure you cover your surface before you start working. The next step is to take a hair dryer and start to blow the paint around. So I just turned mine on high, and as you can see, it makes this really cool effect and starts to swirl the different paint colors together and make a really neat pattern. Now I'm sure I'm not doing this exactly perfectly, but I just wanted to try this technique out and I thought it was so much fun and really cool. And I just kept twisting the canvas around and using my hairdryer from all different directions to kind of experiment with it. And that's what I would suggest doing if you do try this out, is just to play around with it and have fun and work on it until it's the way you want it to be. This does take a while to dry, so once you finish, you're gonna have to probably let it dry overnight, but the end result is so stunning, and I can just imagine doing this in so many different colors, and I can't wait to style this one. Next up, I wanted to break out my watercolors. I haven't used them in a while, so I wanted to create sort of an abstract piece, but it has a rainbow theme to it. So I'm just using a white piece of cardstock paper. I didn't have any specific watercolor paper lying around, but cardstock also worked totally fine. So I just added a little bit of water to my brush, and then I created this sort of arc shape right in the corner of my piece of paper. And then I did the same thing on the bottom, just a little bit smaller. And then I'm gonna go ahead and fill this in. So it kind of looks like part of a rainbow. And what I'm going to do is continue this pattern all the way up the piece of paper with different colors to create an abstract rainbow pattern, which I think is so pretty. This is something you can really have fun with and experiment with the colors. You can also test all your colors out on a different piece of paper first, so you can make sure that they look good together. But I kind of went with this orangey pinky theme, and I thought that was really nice. I also made sure that I only chose about 4 colors because I wanted it to be uniform. So after I finished the first 4 arches, then I went back to the original color, and then I did the same 4 colors again, just so that it didn't look too crazy like I picked a million different colors. But again, that's totally up to you. If you find that your colors aren't dark enough, you can always go back in later and add some more paint, or you can lighten it up by adding some water. I always have so much fun with watercolor, so I'm not trying to be perfect with my lines here. They might be a little bit off, but it's totally okay because we're calling this an abstract piece. So that's why it's perfect for anyone. You don't have to have a really steady hand or amazing art skills to create this. Once I got closer to the top, I started running out of room on the right side, so I just continued these arches up onto the side of the paper on the right side, and then I finished it off with one small little arch in the top corner. Then I let this dry overnight, and I actually put some books on top of it to flatten it out because the cardstock did start to like ripple a little bit with the water. Then I popped it in a frame and styled it in my entryway. I think it is so bright and happy and perfect for this time of year, and it makes me smile whenever I look at it. So that is it for my DIY artwork. I love them all for different reasons, as always. I feel like I say that every video, but it's true. So now I have to know which one was your favorite. Let me know in the comments down below which one you would want to try out. And if you do try it out, tag me on Instagram. That is my favorite thing, and I share all of them on my stories because I just think you guys are so creative and I love to see what you come up with. Of course, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button and the bell notification. I upload every single Sunday, so I will see you next week for a brand new video.